Kevin Conroy died.
That's the podcast.
That's the podcast.
That's the podcast.
What's up? Welcome to a sad It Just Is. Eddie and I are big fans of Batman,
Correct.
and he died today.
Yep.
Or he died yesterday, apparently. I saw.
Yesterday? Oh, damn.
They have it as yesterday, so I don't even know. Man, he was the voice actor for Batman in like the comic books like show. Like was that 80s or 90s?
The 90s.
I think 90s.
He was also Mask of Phantasm, that movie,
Yeah.
which was really good. He did a lot of a lot of Batman. He did a lot of Batman.
Yeah, the DC.
Right? He didn't do everything, but he did a lot of voice acting for Batman. And can't forget to mention the 3 games.
Yeah.
Arkham Asylum, City, and Night
Yeah.
trilogy, which was really good.
Which is like awful because like this guy was 66. He was amazing. Like I loved his voice.
Yeah, no, his voice for Batman is top tier. He has my favorite one.
For which one?
Like for my favorite Batman voice is Conroy's.
Oh, in general.
In general.
Yeah. Yeah, so he did the Arkham Knight, he did Arkham City, he didn't do Arkham Asylum?
No, he did.
He did?
He did. I don't know if it's tweaking. He didn't do Arkham Origins because that was a different.
Yeah. That's just awful. Goated voice. Like I just love his voice.
Yeah, he's got like it's a you know what it is? It's like Robert Pattinson's Batman whispering ASMR voice and Christian Bale's I have something stuck in my throat. I haven't gargled my throat in a couple of years.
Clear my throat, yeah.
Yeah, he's like the middle ground in between both of them. He takes
Yeah.
the best of both, and it's really good. Like it's like it sounds like a normal guy talking, but it's got like a commanding like tone to it.
Yeah.
It's very good. I like it. He's
That's the
very talented.
podcast, so thank you for listening.
Facts. I'm
No.
out of here.
So yeah, rest in peace. That's unfortunate. If you don't know any of his work or like haven't heard his specific Batman, which you probably have without even knowing it, but
Yeah,
like just
for
like
sure.
if you search up any of the Arkham games from the trilogy, Arkham City, Night, or Asylum, goated, or from the 90s shows. But let's just move on from that because that's a little unfortunate and it can't be the sole topic.
Yeah, I just had to mention it.
Let's just mold real quick. Let's just get mad real quick. We were supposed to have a guest on.
Yeah,
Who's the guest supposed to be?
his name's Zach.
Who we've mentioned before on this podcast.
Zach. Yeah,
He's
he's a plug.
Yeah. So he was supposed to join us literally today in this room right now to record.
Right.
I was with him in a room where we were talking about planning the podcast and like, oh, you're gonna be our first guest. We planned this in the morning from our first class, and when him and I went to SLC to do some studying, we were like, oh yeah, this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. You're coming. All right. We're gonna talk about the Raptors. We're gonna talk about basketball. We're gonna talk about a story. And then this guy just flops on me 20 minutes before we have to go record. He goes, I don't think I'm going to have enough time to study, which doesn't even make sense. He's here on campus until 9 p.m. and sleeping overnight in Toronto.
In Toronto at his sister's place. Pal,
you're unhinged.
you're unhinged.
So-
No, like he actually is unhinged though. Like get some work done, and maybe he would have been happy. But like you have time. I don't understand. Even if you did 0 work from 1 o'clock till 3, there's still a bunch of time from 4
We
till
record
midnight.
for 30 minutes.
We can record for 30 minutes.
I don't know. Zach, you're literally a plug.
Yeah, bro, you're actually a meathead. Like, please fix up. Take notes.
He promises, because his word is very reliable.
Facts.
And he'll be here next week. Grain of salt moment. If he does show up, I'll be shocked. But
I'll be so shocked if he does show up. Yeah.
so that's unfortunate. So we're back to just us two, which is fine because we can talk about other things until the next week. But we're recording this on a Friday, which is not when we usually record. We record on Wednesdays. So let's go over what happened like 6-7 days ago, a week ago. Astros won the World Series.
W.
Which 2 people got a ring who 2 people should have gotten a ring, which was their manager. How old is he?
Like 80.
I'm
Like 70
just searching
something.
this up. Because he played for the Dodgers.
I think so. I'm just happy he won a ring. He deserved one.
So he got his first ring. And if you don't know who we're talking about, it's Dusty. That's his real name. I'm not joking. Dusty
Baker.
So, yeah, that's the first person from that team who needed a ring. And then
Absolutely.
I think you said last podcast or the podcast.
Trey Mancini.
Yes.
The
No.
Orioles guy. No.
Who did you say you wanted a ring?
Oh, Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper.
Like that's why what I said was I didn't care who won because then I'd be happy either way. If Bryce Harper gets a ring and Dusty gets a ring, I don't
So
care.
Phillies,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, whatever.
Sucks.
He didn't get a ring. My bad. For some reason, I thought he was on the Astros.
No, but I'm happy Trey Mancini got a ring from the Orioles.
Oh, yeah.
The guy who got he had cancer and then came back and everything, so I'm happy for him. That's good. All around, the Astros are demons.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. But I think it was the Astros who just like did not renew their general manager.
Did they not?
I think I saw that. I don't know if it was the Astros though. Let's see. General manager. Yep. James Click rejects 1-year contract offer out as GM of Astros.
Oh, okay. Makes sense. I mean, they give him a 1-year contract. He won how many chips with them? Like 2, 3, 2? No, 1, 2. They've been to the finals multiple times.
Yeah, they've been to the finals multiple times.
They won 2017, 2019. Did they win 2017? No, they didn't win 2019. The Nationals won 2019.
They didn't win 2019. They won 2017. And then this year, yeah. I don't know. Anyway, whatever.
It's just confusing because they're always either top 4 or in the finals.
Yeah, literally. They're good.
So I can't tell which ones they lost and won.
Finals appearances.
They're good, but like that's only their second in franchise history. Like they actually stunk.
I know.
But I'm happy. It's
bizarre.
like they had like a garbage team and like they actually built like a team, like draft and develop, and like they actually became a good team. Like that's good to see. Like I can't get mad at a team, even how long this run lasts. I can't get mad because like, damn, like they did it from scratch. Like the Yankees, they just go buy people. Like it's pulling money out of their behind. Like
by the way,
nothing.
It's day 2 of free agency and Aaron Judge still hasn't left the Yankees. What is happening? Can you please hurry this process up?
Judge is going to the Giants. I'm calling it right now.
He's calling it right now.
He's going to the Giants.
The 11th of November at 3:21 p.m.
You know why? Judge is from the Bay Area. He grew up a Giants fan. The Giants are actually a really good team, but they don't have hitting. They have good pitching. They need hitting. Judge is a monster at hitting. They said the Giants said they're ready to spend in this offseason. Like they said, no one's out of our budget. So it's promising because if they get Aaron Judge, doesn't mean that they're just gonna stop there. They might pick up a few other prominent free agents that might help out with the hitting situation. Maybe sign 1 or 2 more pitchers. I think they need a little help in the bullpen and one more starter because I think Rodon is out. He's a free agent. Rodon. He's done. Carlos Rodon.
Get it?
Yeah. He's done. He might be. I don't know. He's a free agent, so he's gonna want to get the bag. And
you want to talk about one thing real quick for like let's spend like a minute, not too long on this. The Blue Jays and the Blue Jays subreddit is split on a signing that has not happened, but
Verlander.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's your take? 'Cause I know you're.
Yeah.
Share it with the podcast.
100%. I want Verlander. 100%. Why? Like who? He's 40. He's whatever. I don't give a damn. Max Scherzer is how many years old right now? He's an actual. But he's an animal.
Demon time.
He's a demon. He's a demon. He did blow it a little bit in the wild card series, but like, just look at his stats. He's a demon. He didn't blow it last year for Dodgers. That's for sure. He won his games that he needed to win. He was super clutch in the wild card game last year.
I think that's a misconception with baseball compared to like the major sports. Like if you're like Jumbo, you're 40, your skating goes down. You can be quick, the follow through with your shot. If you're in basketball, you're not running up and down the court for like 3 minutes. You're on for the last 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Right? In baseball, it's not really much of that unless like you're running bases.
The thing that decline with old players is their bat speed, which is how fast they can get to the ball. But they can always adjust. You can adjust your swing to shoot balls opposite instead of trying to up your bat speed. Because if you just wait on that pitch a little extra second longer, slow down that bat speed, but change up your technique and just hit balls opposite field. Yuli Gurriel does this for a damn living. How old is the man?
It's 20.
Not Lourdes, his brother, Yuli.
38.
He's 38, and he won the batting title last year.
Yeah.
Because he waits on pitches, and he just slices it opposite field. His bat speed is not up to par, but he changes technique, and he just gets singles and doubles every day of the week.
You're all for it.
It's different, and like I'm all for it. And even pitchers too. Yeah, sure, like their velocity will go down, but if a good pitcher can aim, doesn't matter how fast the pitch is.
If you throw your fastball, unless let's say your fastball is like 84, but then you throw a change up and that's like 68. Like that's already enough to like get 2 strikeouts.
Facts, as long as they're put in the right position, right?
You have to like aim. So like even you don't need velo. That's 99.
Yeah, even if the velo goes down, like good pitchers are good because not because they throw gas. We know a bunch of a lot of pitchers can throw gas, but if they leave it over the plate, these guys are professional hitters. They'll smoke it. Good pitchers can throw gas, but they can also sequence their pitches well, like you said, with changing the speeds, but also locate it in good positions.
For sure.
So like, why not just get Justin Verlander? You want to win too. Like,
why have the money? It's not a cap space.
It's not a cap
league.
You know, like it's I don't know. Like Jays fans are a little too conservative sometimes. Oh, this prospect, who gives a damn? This team's good to win now. So why don't you just like treat them like they're good? Keep like look what the Padres did. Like they're still gonna be good for a couple years. Like they got a decent chance. Like why not just go for it? Because you might regret it once if you don't win anything and Bo and Vlad are like old and are about to retire, and you regret not going all in, just screw it. There's always another rebuild that can happen, you know? Like, it's...
Yeah.
So...
But this isn't a situation where it's like this signing will decide the fate of the Blue Jays. This isn't something that's like astronomical in a good or bad way. Like, if you do sign the contract, right, and it ends up being a bad contract, then it was a bad contract.
Yeah, move on. Literally.
Look at Ryu.
He was great for the first 2 seasons.
He was great, and then he fell off a cliff.
And the Blue Jays made the playoffs just fine last year.
Yes.
You know? With him pitching literally like one game, because he played one game and like died.
Yeah. So
also,
I feel like the downside is not so detrimental.
It's not so detrimental
compared to the upside.
It's really not. Oh yeah, 100%. I think it's a like risk reward thing where the risk is much lower than the reward. I think the reward is greater than the risk. Also, let's say he's not. Let's say he's still good, but he can't be like a starter anymore. Justin Verlander out of the bullpen. Why not? Sure, he might make starter money, but he's pitching at the bullpen. But if he's still very good at the bullpen, you can toss it because he still has starter arm, so he can toss 3 innings out of the bullpen. He doesn't need to be limited to 1 inning.
Yeah.
And he's a demon. Like, look at his stats last year. Like, this guy takes care of himself. Like, Giordano's 40 and he's still a GOAT.
Giordano, 39-year-old man.
Age doesn't mean anything sometimes. And like you got to look at a case by case scenario. Like you look at this guy and you're like, man, his velocity just isn't going down. Like, he's in good shape. He won this, or he's gonna win the Cy Young. Maybe he did win this. Did he win the Cy Young?
I think he won the.
He won the Cy Young.
I think so.
Yes, for sure he did. His ERA was like 182.
Yeah, he won the Cy Young 2 times.
Okay, yeah. So
twice.
Just bring him. Just sign him. The Giants were close to signing him last year, and it's like, do you really want to make that same mistake again?
Plus, you're bringing a 2-time World Series champ, so that.
And
plus, it's a vet.
Plus, it's a guy who got 2 no-hitters in the dome.
Yeah.
He just likes pitching in the dome.
Yeah. So I don't know. Listen, if this is something that you're caught up on, it's like this is gonna make or break the Blue Jays. I don't think you even know what baseball as a sport is.
Yeah, facts.
And you're just hopping. Like, it's not. This isn't like. Plus, it's not even a trade. It's not even like you're giving something up.
You're just signing him for literal money.
Yes.
That's infinite because it's Rogers.
It's Rogers.
You know.
That's never been a concern.
That's not never. Money is never a concern for Rogers ever.
Anyway, I said let's spend a minute on this. We spent way longer on this. Let's move on to the topic of Graham Metcalf.
I love this man.
And our class of SOC 202, which is popular culture. Listen, if you've never taken this class, we're in first year. This is an elective we chose.
It's a lower level.
Lower liberal.
Just a lower liberal.
Yeah.
I don't need to put another L in there.
We chose this. It was supposed to be fun because the way that Metcalf had planned out the semester or laid it out for his students was that you would be in a lecture and then the second class would still be a lecture.
Kind of like a tutorial class.
Yeah, essentially. One class is 1 hour, the other class is 2 hours. And he said that 1 hour class would be focused more on pop culture and that the second 2 hour class would be more towards sociology. I haven't really found that. We do a lot of sociology with hints of pop culture. But I will say that this class has allowed for a lot of nasty, and by nasty I mean like gross, like when you say gross pitch, like hot takes in this class, you know?
Yeah.
Not gross in the sense where it's like, how dare you say that? But gross is like, I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
And I'm about to either tell you why you're right or like shred you into pieces for why you're wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm thinking we talk about a few of those today for the podcast.
Oh, for sure.
And maybe get your take as a listener, or maybe you can just critically think for yourself and see, oh, I disagree, I agree. So one of the things that I really want to talk about is the idea. So what we're talking about right now is the patriarchy. That's a big thing that we're talking about. And one thing that we have to make discussion posts, as most students going to a university or college know that discussion posts are huge for classes. We had to post on our discussion board basically covering anything that we learned about in class, anything that we watched, anything that relates to sociology and pop culture. And so what I decided to write about, because it kind of struck me as odd when we were in class talking about the patriarchy. By the way, anyone who doesn't know what the patriarchy is, a bunch of old white men who control everything in the world, like essentially. Like,
it's essentially like the ideas of
the dominant, like men dominate.
Like the way of life in like the 60s and like the 50s kind of.
Prior to the 60s and stuff, right?
Like the established quote unquote norms of.
And that the men dictate everything. The men dictate the laws, the rules, what says goes, all that stuff. So I, in my discussion post, talked about how it was true that I don't deny that patriarchy exists. It's very much real. There's evidence of it existing and of its effects. However, a thing that I've seen a lot, this is what I said in my discussion post. Ever since Andrew Tate came out, everyone's so quick to blame the patriarchy We're living in the 21st century. It's 2022. And a big thing about living in 2022 is technology.
Mm-hmm.
No one acknowledges technology when they can find an easy target like the patriarchy.
Mm-hmm.
So much. Bill Burr said it best in one of his stand-up shows. I can't remember if it was the one he did in 2020 or 2021 or the one in like the 2017-18 time of pre-COVID stand-up, where he said, oh, this had to be his recent one because it was after Black Lives Matter. Mm-hmm. And he said, it's so funny that we can sit here and be like, yeah, Black Lives Matter. Yeah, they deserve better. For better treatment from police officers and from the law and from even just bigots and stuff like that. We, as people who agree with the statement that Black Lives Matter, will pretend or feel like we're doing something by doing it on our L-shaped couches, tweeting on Twitter, hashtag Black Lives Matter, thinking that accomplishes something. You are doing nothing. That's a little too harsh. When you are tweeting from your couch doing hashtag Black Lives Matter and you compare yourself to someone who's going to a protest, who has dedicated time and money to making a sign, going somewhere, dedicating hours of their day to protesting,
or
you're doing
involved
nothing.
With the community and
you're doing nothing. You're doing nothing. Your tweet means nothing, absolutely nothing.
Facts.
And you're quick to blame the patriarchy when something happens when you literally are doing nothing.
Can I say something pretty sizzling right now?
Say it.
Is the patriarchy really that bad?
In what sense?
In some of its values.
Hit me with some of them.
For example, I made it. My discussion post was about men and women in being in a relationship and how now we have women going on to have careers, which is great, which is fine. They should have the right to. But is there something inherently wrong with a woman wanting to be a housewife?
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Inherently, no.
No. There should
nor is there something wrong with a man wanting to stay home and be with their children.
Facts. I think
what you're coming to is like a parent having a connection, a bond with their own biological children, or even just children.
Right. Or just like choosing what's best for the family, being like, damn, my kid is like, he has a learning disability, so I'm gonna stay home and like help him out with that, and then you're gonna go make the money, sure. And then it could be
I read your post, so I know more about the finer details. So like, meaning not saying like the man makes the decision. This you mentioned in your post, like where the family sits down, they all agree on what is best for the family,
yes,
right? So if that means the woman going out to work and the man staying at home,
whichever one makes more money, whichever one has a healthier job, like and is not working in a toxic environment, yeah.
If they can come to a healthy agreement that results in no conflict, then that's absolutely fine. And I don't understand how someone, because what you're referencing is that you read an article.
I saw a video clip. I saw a video clip on an Australian host on a morning show. There's a woman on Facebook who made a post. She's a housewife. She stays home, cooks, cleans, whatever, and she like kind of broke down her routine and she basically explained how she like cooks, cleans, takes care of the kids, makes sure the dinner's ready for when dad comes home, make sure that all the clothes are ready for tomorrow. She wakes up with her husband too to like pack everything and stuff. And it's like, this girl was just like, yo, who even does that? It's like, she started the segment off with, let me take you back to 1950. Or at least that's what I thought when I read this post. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Like, why are you knocking another woman for doing what she genuinely likes, for taking care of her family and like being proud of it and being happy in it?
For sure, because I think a lot of people forget that being a housewife isn't like
slavery.
It isn't like something that is forced upon. People can choose this. This was a career on my blueprint. Housewifery. This is something that you can actually like learn and appreciate doing. This isn't something that's forced upon someone. I'm not saying that there hasn't been people, there aren't people who exist today that have to be a housewife or forced to be housewives, but the way that people are treating it, and like the woman in the situation in Australia who's labeling it as something that's not a choice, is so dumb.
Yeah, like
it's incredibly stupid. It's so close-minded.
It's really odd. Like I even said in my post, feminism. Women can do what they want. Woman does what she wants. Feminism. I'm mad.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
What's that's really weird. It's strange. And like she's taking care of her family. Like that's a respectable. It's a commendable thing to do. That's a lot of work. Like that their system, the way they worked it out, the way they figured it out, is the dad goes to make the money and the mom takes care of the kids. It's basically like one's doing one job to make the money for the house and one guy's taking care of the house. It's not like the wife's sitting down and doing nothing. She's doing things to keep active, and clearly she's happy with it, and the family seems to be doing fine. The kids are probably doing fine because their mom's all around all the time, And like I even like brought up an example of like if the both parents work, what happens when they get home? But sometimes you won't have. That was just like I'm not saying like there's the right and wrong way, but I was saying to defend my point. Like for example, like if you have a husband and wife who are working, they're both out. The kid has to maybe go, if he's not in school, he has to go to a daycare. If he has to go stay at like a babysitter's, and like you don't get that hands-on learning mother-child connection. That's actually really good for a kid. But the cost of living.
Saying that's also proven like that you can actually find that.
Yeah, that's really proven. Yeah.
Some child development.
You told me about that one. Yeah. But like I'm not. The cost of living is ridiculous, so I completely understand if they have to do that. You come back and the kid ate food and the dishes aren't washed, or like the babysitter doesn't do the dishes because you don't pay them to do that, and like now you gotta make food, and like it's hard to make food and you're tired, and you have to want to spend quality time with your kids, which is really hard when you're exhausted from a 9 to 5. So I was just bringing up the example how it could be a really positive thing if you have your mom stay home, dad goes to work, comes home, food is ready, everybody eats, and then the rest of the evening, dad can chill, mom's already chilled, and everyone has happy evening time with the family. Obviously, like I said, I'm not saying there's a right and wrong way, but I was just trying to defend my point by saying that like there really is upside to the way that this couple is doing things, and that like just because it falls under the old patriarchy ways doesn't mean that it's wrong. Some of the like there are things that the patriarchy is like inherently bad, and for the majority of it is, but there are genuine things that you could actually pull out of it and apply it to your real life like that, which could be actually useful. Yeah. It's just about spinning it and making it more like accessible to a modern generation.
I think so. The reason I'm stumbling over all of my words. When I think of the patriarchy and some of the values that come out of it that people can appreciate, this is just me thinking about it like out loud right now. I haven't thought about this before, but as I speak, I'm thinking. It isn't something necessarily that's exclusive to the patriarchy, though. That ideal, that ideology, that having someone stay at home and be one person working, one person be with the child and cooking and cleaning and raising the child and interacting with the child and all those things that go into it. It isn't something that's exclusive that you can find from the patriarchy. And this is something you can find in any religious text or any of the, let me speak on behalf of what I know. Any Abrahamic religious text.
Yes, Abrahamic religion, for sure. So
of the three, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. I know that for a fact that's if someone were to say, well, the idea or the moral of staying at home with your child and raising them is exclusive to Christianity, like you're wrong. And it's not exclusive to the patriarchy. So I guess as far as looking at the patriarchy as something like having good lessons, yeah, I would agree. But I don't know if we should necessarily credit them for that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, we shouldn't credit for them because obviously that started with religious texts and scripts and stuff. But when you think of the husband and wife and having someone stay home, usually the first thing that pops to head is patriarchy. That's just because that's like when it became pop culture and the norm, quote unquote, as we learned in class. So that's why I kind of brought up patriarchy. But like, yeah, that's there are really good values to bring from the past.
Nice.
And the lights just turned off in the studio. Okay, you want to continue like this?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
It's kind of cool. Okay, what else? You have something to say?
Other than that, like as far I guess I'll end off the patriarchy arc with this. Stuff that is assigned to the patriarchy is this. The patriarchy. As much bad as there is associated with the patriarchy and what they're responsible for, there's also a lot that just, I feel like I wrote in my discussion post, we shouldn't be wasting our time putting our energy towards this. What I mean by that is that the patriarchy is huge. Mm-hmm. The patriarchy is huge, and I feel like something like that requires you can't tear something down that's so big with so little. Mm-hmm. And something that is looked over so much, and it was looked over by me so much until I really, really, really understood that this works, at least for me, maybe not for everyone. Baby steps work. You cannot, or I'll speak on my behalf, I cannot do something where I'm lunging to the next step because I'm risking, by taking a lunge, missing necessary things. And if I'm using the literal meaning of a lunge, I can hurt myself with such a long stride. I can look over something. I can miss something. So with such little steps, like I feel like if we as a combined group, let's take Black Lives Matter as an example. We can't, as a group, be like, Black Lives Matter, our target, the patriarchy. They're going to wreck everyone.
Mm-hmm.
They have so much money. They have so much power. They have so much influence. That's not the first step. So I feel like, the patriarchy as a first target is such a bad one because I feel like we're destined to fail. Whereas if our first step, for example, is first we have to address the issue with funding with the police. And then we have to address the next thing as a group, as a society, as people who care. We have to address the issue that is within government, or like, but it doesn't even have to be like we're in Canada. It doesn't have to be the country. It could be provincial. It could be even
municipal.
Like it doesn't, we can't as a group expect change when our change that we're looking towards is so dominant that we're destined to fail.
Yes.
So,
and now that, can I say something? Now that you brought up the thing where it's like, doesn't have to be a country. The most change you can make actually by voting and by being involved in politics is municipal. Yeah. So if, let's hypothetically, in a perfect world, everybody understood the assignment. Everybody goes to change their municipal stuff. That would have the world would change overnight. Yeah. So it really starts with the municipal. Go vote and go talk. Listen to your local MPs. Listen to your local mayors and stuff, and like
whoever's running,
and like, you don't like this guy, vote him out. And like that builds. Like it really starts from the root. Because if municipal's the root, how can you change? Like you said, like how can you change an entire country if you don't change the root? Yeah. You know. You can't build a new home unless you tear down to the foundation and build from.
What was that saying? Rome wasn't built in a day.
Rome wasn't built in a day, type of thing, right? So you gotta get to the root of it, and that's municipal. So if you got municipal will affect provincial will affect federal will affect global, right? So, yeah, I completely agree with that. Go vote in municipal elections. I voted my municipal election like a month ago, ish. I don't remember when it was. I think it was like a month ago. I've lost the concept of time with university, but I voted for sure. I went to Courtney Park and I did it.
That's I guess the key takeaway from this is that, not voting. You should though.
Get involved with your
vote. Yeah, get involved with your city. Get involved with, because you're not bro. The amount of times I've seen the dumb idiot Republican Trump supporters. Yes, I'm calling you dumb. Is that you think you're changing an entire thing by voting? Let's say take America. You're voting for the president, and then the amount of people that are shocked. Oh, this entire state is red. This entire state is red, and they won the blue. Like, if you don't have the concept of even understanding the basics when it comes to voting, when it starts within where you are. Mm-hmm. Your vote for the president, just because you voted red, doesn't mean you're gonna win red, and it shows red as a majority. Because if you're in like some in the middle of nowhere desert, 2 people live there. Yeah, you won the red. You won that area as red. Mm-hmm. But if you're not making the change internally, where you start, where you live, where you work, where as a community in your city, and then your state, and then your country, in that order, respectively, that will show you. Because like if you vote for what you want and you vote where it matters the most, and then you progress into something that as a society follows these rules, much more significant changes will be seen. Regardless of if this entire state shows up red and you wanted blue, for example, if you start where you are, you're already taking the right direction into understanding, okay, this is why this is how this can be changed, this is where I can go for this. It makes so much more sense.
Yeah, and like now that you mentioned that, like I remember tracking the election in 2020 was the election, right? Yeah, 2020. I remember tracking the election in school, and I remember when Georgia was blue, right? They ended up winning.
Georgia, I can't remember if Georgia finished blue. It started red.
It started red and finished blue.
Vice versa. If it started
vice versa, but it definitely started. It started red because the mail-in votes came in very late, and the mail-in votes were usually all blue because Trump was like, Trump literally said don't. Trump literally said don't vote mail-in, right? Yeah. So then that's why everything was red at the beginning, and everyone's like, oh, Trump's gonna win. And then when the mail-in votes came, which is mostly liberals, that's when everything turned blue, and that's when. But that was a calculated move by Trump to be like, oh, look what they're doing, these mail-in votes. Yeah. Because he was saying like, oh, look, everything's red, then all of a sudden it turns blue. I wonder how that happened.
I refuse to give Trump credit. That was not Trump's thinking. That was one of his advisors.
Probably one of his advisors, but that was a tactic done by his administration to propagate conspiracy theories, because that's what he does. He deceives and bends the truth to the point where you don't even know it's real anymore, and then he ends up winning by proclaiming he is the truth out of all the mess. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I was on a tangent there. Georgia was red, but why was it red? Because it got all the votes from those northern outskirts of Georgia in like desert land, basically. What do you think Atlanta was? It was basically 95% blue. Atlanta, the inner city is all blue, and that's where they got majority of the population and majority of the votes, and they came in late because it was COVID and mail-in, and that's why it turned blue. But that's what you like mean to say, where it's like even in the same state, different territories have different political ideologies and are usually different in how they feel about how their views and stuff. So policies and stuff, right? That's the word I was looking for. So like, yeah, you gotta even think micro to that point of like my ward. Like, what is my ward right now? Is my ward red? Is my ward blue? Is the governor for my ward, or the MP in our case, for my ward, is he a bozo? Does he know what he's talking about? Like, that's really the questions you gotta ask. It starts on the ground up. You can't build a house without doing a foundation first. No one builds a roof first and then expects to do the foundation.
Yeah. That's it for this week's episode. Thank you for listening. Think about what we said. Think about what you think. I don't know. Sleep well, because it's Sunday that you're listening to.
Enjoy the weekend.
I have to go to class because, class, and take care. And Zach hopefully will show up tomorrow or next week. I keep saying tomorrow like it's recording. All right. Take care.